A lot of companies will reach out to us because we have this large pool of top-notch musicians, and we can make it happen quickly, and we can wait to get paid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if you have an artist, if you were to give advice to an artist trying to break into that, what would be your one piece of advice?
Have good video.
Video?
And just make it a good one. Invest in yourself that way. Get good players, make a good video, and send it out to people. And do it in a professional way where it's not hard for them to get a hold of you. A clear and easy email address to send inquiries to. And also respond immediately.
Yeah, I'd say good advice is when we offer you a gig, take it.
Yeah.
Well, that is... It's something I have found working with particularly artists. Business owners, when I've brought them onto this, they're quick, immediate response. Artists are like, well, artists and authors for me have been a struggle because it is one of those, like, their own schedule. So, yeah, we can do it Thursday, and then I get the phone call on Wednesday saying, I got something else that came up. Oh, thanks. So that is absolutely fantastic advice. Where gigsforyou.com, where else? .org, sorry. Where are you on Instagram? Are you on Facebook? Are you?
Yep, we're on all of it.
Awesome.
Twitter, Instagram, Facebook.
Is it all Gigs for You?
Yeah, it is. We're actually in the midst. Gigs for You was created on the spot while I was when I got word from SeaTac Airport that they were going to give me a trial period to prove to them that my concept would work. I just started texting every musician I knew. Said, "Hey, I have gigs for you. Call me. Hey, I have gigs for you. Call me." So you tend to take all the shortcuts. So that's how it came out. Gigs, the number 4, the letter U. So we just adopted that as the company name. But as we are now focusing more on bringing in more clients because we have more musicians than we have gigs by far, we're actually in the midst of changing the company to Amused Entertainment. And we came with Amused because we're all about arts and music and education.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah.
So, freaking fascinating. There is, where do you see Amused going? Is this going to be a more the venue hunt? Client hunt?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think where it's going is into every major city in the United States is where it's going because there's nobody doing what we're doing, and the whole recording industry is upside down. And that's really about career development. I mean, there used to be, and the old model was that the record label would invest in an artist, put out their first record, pay for it, put them on the road. They'd pay for all of that. Well, that's gone away. So we think that we can fill that gap by just putting musicians in front of people. That's not happening now.
Yeah. Is that, as far as the music industry goes, the few people I've talked to that are the self-producing and selling their own merch, basically, is that kind of still the way the musician is making their money?
It's going to be more and more that way. That's why performing live is going to be a bigger piece of the pie.
Performing live is
huge. Because people are still paying $1 for a single. I paid $1 for a single 40, 50 years ago when I bought my first single. So it's not like recording is really, and especially in today with the distribution system is so changed that the way to make your money is to move around and be able to play everywhere and
put asses in seats.
Yeah, we can create a network through the program that we've established here in Seattle.
Awesome.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Yeah, and the thing is that the artists need to have an online presence. They need to maximize all of those platforms to where they're out in front of people, whether it be outside, literally on the streets in front of people, or on the computer in front of people. And get yourself out there, seen by as many people as you can. And, take suggestions. If somebody comes to you and says, hey, you might want to try something, just be open-minded and
turn off the ego.
Yeah, I think so.
And say yes to more things.
Because the more open the artist, the more they get better and they get newer ideas, and And they just
feedback
they get-
from
yeah.
people who are hearing them that they would have never gotten before by
Yeah.
putting themselves out there.
Yeah.
It's
And
amazing.
they just get better and better, and they're working with other better and better artists and having a less competitive point of view, but rather a collaborative and cooperative point of view. And it really makes a difference in a vibrant music community, which Seattle definitely has.
Yeah. I mean, we're a small business, but the smallest business in the world is being a musician.
Yeah.
I mean, it's one person, and you're writing the songs, and you're booking the shows, and you're playing the music, and you're trying to get a hold of the club owner to get a gig. You know, it's just like it's a huge amount of work, and so that's where we see that we can help those local musicians out by taking some of that load off of them, being kind of their business partner in a way.
Gotcha. So you offer some mentoring, some coaching.
Well,
Coaching
yeah,
for sure. We're not really managing anybody, but we certainly
But
offer.
we're connectors.
Yeah.
We
Yes.
connect people together.
Yeah, and we
That helps. We
Exactly.
Can tell, oh, hey, you need to talk to this person. This person can get you further along in this department. Oh, you and you should collaborate because you both have a similar mindset and your
Right.
music is compatible. You know, stuff like that. You know,
Awesome.
it's really good when it happens and you see the other artists coming to look at the other artists who are playing at the airport because it's at kind of the same time.
Yeah.
It overlaps, but it's at different locations. So when one gets off, they'll go and see the other one that's playing, and they meet other artists that way. And there have been a lot of collaborations that way.
Awesome.
And just get across, it is a business. So if you want to do this and make your living at it, you need to get some coaching on business. I mean, everybody has it. I'm sure you have in your business career, and so we give them tips on how to make more money while they're playing. You know, I mean, some people are not good at engaging people, and we'll try to point that out to them and say, look at them in the eye and sing a cover song every once in a while, so they'll hear a song they know, and then they might listen to a song you wrote.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of coaching and a lot of the advice that we can give people. Everybody wants to know that. Maybe some of them already do. So we're just going to be a platform that is helpful to all musicians.
Yeah. So, last question: what is like the crowning jewel moment for gigs for you so far?
Well, I'd have to say it's when we realized that we had paid out to local musicians $1 million. That floored me.
Yeah.
I was really, I mean, just the significance of that really hit me.
Yeah. That's huge.
Yeah.
And how long were you in?
4.5 years.
4.5 years.
Start from zero to that in 4.5 years.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, awesome. You guys, thank you for coming by.
Thank
This
you.
is awesome.
Sweet.
Hey guys, this section is brought to you by Latham Realty Unlimited. Get a hold of them at 425-345-4920. There is a construction company, a real estate company, an investment company. It's the best team on the planet. They can take care of all of your real estate needs, whether it be your landscaping, your tile, your carpet, whatever your needs are to get your house ready to sell, they're on top of it. You got one point of contact from start to closing, reliable people who work on your schedule and on your needs. They're just full of integrity and trustworthy. They're your one-stop shop. Speed your timeline from inspection to closing. Go get after it with Latham Realty Unlimited, 425-345-4920. Also, Magic Shears at 306 North Olympic Avenue in downtown Arlington. From your basic boys cut to crazy line designs, Magic Shears has you covered. You're sure to laugh at the shenanigans and the fun attitude and the fun atmosphere. It's just an absolutely awesome place to go get your haircut, get your hair did, and get it done by awesome people. They do colors, foils, ombres, and all the other stuff. I don't know what it is and what it's about, and I have no clue because whatever. Frosting tips, is that still a thing? I don't know, but they got it. Waxing's available too. Nothing weird, just like your eyebrows and lip or whatever else you need to get done. They'll probably perm your mullet too, but you better tip huge for that. Anyway, go check them out. Magic Shears, 306 North Olympic Avenue, 360-435-3833. Book your appointment today. They rock. Go check them out.
Welcome to my little podcast here.
Well, thanks.
Tell me about you and what you got going on.
Okay, well, I'm Peter Durbin, and I do concert photography, and I've been doing it since I was a youth, doing photos. My grandmother gave me an Olympus camera when I was a teenager, and I'd go, snap shows and sneak it into shows, so yeah, I grew up down in Los Angeles, and so I was around music stuff. I was always a music junkie, and had a buzz for radio. So I got to befriended a friend who was in radio, and I got to hang out and kind of did an apprenticeship there and did that. And then in '89, my wife and I moved up here with our kids, and I got a gig at KSER, which is here in Everett, Washington.
Yeah.
And I was on the air at KSER for about 18 years doing that.
Bummer.
And I know. But before that, I was back in the 80s, in 1980, I photographed the Grateful Dead up in Anchorage, Alaska. And, it was just for me and, not for anything. I was, a 20-year-old kid and taking the pictures and yada yada. And so back in 1980. So fast forward, I do the gig at KSER. I retire from that. I'm kind of trying to figure out, okay, what do I want to do for fun? And ironically, 30 years to the day, I get an email from the archivist of the Grateful Dead who had seen my picture that I had posted on the fan forum. And they said, hey, we want to use your pictures for a CD release. And so lo and behold, they purchased 4 of my photos and put them into an archival release. And it kind of got me interested to say, I should raise the family. I should pick up my camera again. And basically since 2010, it's been nonstop. I've been shooting shows in the Puget Sound and up and down the whole Northwest and down the West Coast. And been having a ball. Really excited to be at this pop-up gallery that Wendy Becker-Poischbeg invited me to. And so anyway, it's a whirlwind.
So you weren't really actively taking pictures during your KSER days?
I was, but as a hobbyist. I mean,
Gotcha.
I was going to festivals, and I'd bring my point and shoot in.
Yeah.
I'd get into the front of the stage, and I'd take shots, and some of the shots turned out really good, but I wasn't really doing anything with them or anything. And in fact, the person you were just talking to before, Ed Beeson, I've known Ed for years because of the radio relationship and things that he did before with the backstage and so forth. And he and I connected up about the same time, 2010 or so. He was doing some projects, and he was working on a festival up in Stanwood. And I told him I was doing my photography again. I'd stopped doing the radio and was doing my photography. And he said, hey, why don't you come up and be my festival photographer for this thing that he was doing up in Stanwood? And so I went, and I did that for him. So in large part, it was Ed helping me along with making some connections. And then he started doing some stuff at Benaroya Hall, and he asked me to help out there. And so now for the last 5 or 6 years, I've been the house photographer for the Live at Benaroya Hall series. And I'm now the house photographer for the Edmonds Center for the Arts for their events.
Cool.
And I do that as a volunteer.
Yeah.
I do it as a volunteer. I provide the pictures to the venues, and they use it for their marketing. And it's my way of, I'm kind of a community guy.
Yeah.
I mean, my years at KSER was community radio. My involvement with these two venues is to be a part of the community.
Yeah.
And be involved in that. And it's given me the opportunity to shoot some, photograph some great artists.
Absolutely.
So it's been a lot of fun.
Is there any of them that kind of stick out in your heart? The ones that you're extremely proud of? The one where you started developing it and saying, "Whoa, that's it," or now it's digital.
Well, it's because I do so much of it now. I mean, it's the right artist at the right time, and you don't know whether it's going to be that thing, that moment when you shoot it. Like, for example, last year I did a festival down in Pasadena, California, called the Arroyo Seco Weekend.
Yeah.
And the headliner for the day that I was there was Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers. And also Charles Bradley played on the same day.
Yeah.
And sadly they both passed away at the end of last year.
Yeah.
And it was like,